The cameras were rolling, the stage lights blazing hot, and the tension in the air so sharp it could slice through steel. No one in that crowded Washington studio could have predicted what would unfold that night. Senator John Kennedy, known for his wit and fiery defense of plain-spoken truth, had just announced that he was suing Congressman Adam Schiff for $80 million, a lawsuit that sent shockwaves not just through the political world, but through every living room where Americans tuned in, waiting to see the fallout. The lawsuit itself was explosive. Kennedy accused Schiff of spreading falsehoods, damaging reputations, and manipulating the truth for political gain. The figure $80 million wasn't random. It was chosen to make a point. Kennedy wanted to show that words had weight, that misleading the public came at a cost. For many, the lawsuit felt like a long overdue reckoning. For others, it was a bold and dangerous gamble. When Kennedy strode onto the stage for the live debate, his presence filled the room. His southern drawl carried a mix of charm and steel. He spoke not like a polished politician rehearsing lines but like a man defending his own family at the dinner table. "You can call me a lot of things," he began, his voice steady but forceful, "but I will not sit idly by while lies are dressed up as truth and sold to the American people. Words matter, honor matters, and tonight, we're gonna talk about both." The audience erupted. Some clapped, some booed, but all leaned in. Then Adam Schiff walked out. His expression was calm, but the tightness in his jaw betrayed the storm within. Schiff had been painted as cold and calculating by his critics, yet in that moment, there was a flicker of something deeper, perhaps frustration, perhaps defiance, perhaps fear of what was about to unfold. The moderator barely had to ask the first question before Kennedy launched into his case. He detailed Schiff's past statements, breaking them down point by point. He wasn't just relying on rhetoric. He came armed with receipts of video clips, transcripts, and evidence projected on the screen behind them. Each moment was like a hammer striking an anvil, echoing across the hall. Then came Schiff's turn. Viewers leaned forward, waiting for a defensive retreat or perhaps a barrage of counterattacks. Instead, Schiff did something no one expected. He dropped his polished guard and spoke with an unfiltered honesty that stunned even his fiercest critics. "Senator," Schiff began, looking Kennedy directly in the eye, "you may believe you're defending truth, but lawsuits don't heal a divided country. Retaliation doesn't restore trust. I've made mistakes, and I own them. But ask yourself, what do we gain by tearing each other apart on national television? What do the American people gain from two men with power, fighting like enemies instead of leading like statesmen?" The room went silent. For a moment, even Kennedy's sharp tongue found no words. Schiff's unexpected candor pierced through the noise. He wasn't dodging, he was disarming, and the effect was electric. Kennedy finally leaned back in his chair, his expression shifting from combative to contemplative. "Mr. Schiff," he said slowly, "I didn't file this lawsuit to enrich myself. I filed it because Americans are sick and tired of being lied to, sick and tired of leaders who think accountability is optional. You talk about healing. Healing starts with the truth." The clash continued for over an hour, but something had changed. What began as a bitter showdown slowly transformed into a reckoning, not just between two politicians, but between two versions of leadership. One demanded accountability through justice. The other pleaded for reconciliation through humility. When the broadcast ended, the nation was divided, but also shaken. For some, Kennedy's fire was a beacon of courage. For others, Schiff's vulnerability showed the rare and much-needed humanity. Both the men walked off that stage changed, and not because one had destroyed the other, but because they had revealed, in full view of millions, the painful truth about America's political wounds. In the weeks that followed, the lawsuit pressed forward, and the legal battle promised to be long. But something unexpected lingered from that night. People began talking less about political parties and more about personal integrity. For the first time in a long time, citizens weren't just pointing fingers at Washington, they were reflecting on the role each of them played in demanding truth, in giving grace, and in holding leaders accountable. The story of Senator Kennedy suing Adam Schiff wasn't just about $80 million or political vendettas. It was about the heavy price of dishonesty, the courage to confront it, and the surprising power of humility in the most unlikely of moments. By the end of it all, one message stood out above the noise: truth has a cost, but so does division. And sometimes, the most shocking response isn't anger or defiance but the courage to admit you were wrong.